Big fluff.
Hello, world. It's Stephanie Cmar, and I am here to tell you that I know some shit.
Exotica. Hi, everybody. I'm Joel Murphy.
And I'm Stephanie Cmar.
And this is Stephanie Knows Some Shit,
where we go over the things that we think are cool, that we think are hip, that we think, Joel, I don't know how old you are, but I'm 37. So like near 40-year-olds think is really cool, which is very different than 20-year-olds. And today we were actually inspired by a conversation we had within the past couple weeks about weird eating habits. And I've always alluded to the fact that I do not eat properly. Like if you were to put me in front of a doctor, they're typically pissed.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I don't know if I have it the opposite way, but I actually just had to get all the blood work and stuff done at a doctor. And I feel like doctors are always slightly baffled that like all of my panels come back really well. Because again,
really cool.
As people who listened last week might have caught, like I eat very trashy food, but yet for some reason my baseline health is pretty good. So
dude, that's incredible. I was low in that I was like shocked, like other than iron and like vitamin D or B or something like that. Total protein.
Oh.
And I was like, that doesn't sound great.
No, that doesn't.
But I figured they would call me. So I'm doing that whole like passive thing where you're like, this didn't look right because it was like bolded. It was like they put exclamation points on your chart. Yeah. If you're low. But whatever. That's just a little personal about me. But I was like, total protein, like protein. What kind of protein? Like beef protein, just blood protein? Which one's going to kill me?
Yeah.
Would be great to know. But do keep going. Sorry, I digress.
Oh, no. That was all I had. But yeah, I think this weird eating habits has sort of started cropping up on the show. And I think last week's episode was also particularly because we were talking about making stuff out of like the pantry or things that you had on hand. But there was a lot of discussion of like rolled up lunch meat and mayonnaise and cheese sandwiches.
Love those.
Yeah. So I think that was a lot of the inspiration.
So good. So I spend a truckload of time looking at obscure restaurant menus. I don't know. I get on a kick. So like recently, because I've been doing the whole tourist in my own state type of thing, it's been like clam shacks and lobster huts and chowder houses. And it takes you to like a weird world, especially when you're looking at these menus and they're all using the same stock photo to describe their mozzarella sticks. You know what I mean? There's like a lot of like, it's interesting. But so I go on this website. It's called like the Omelet Factory or the Omelet and I. And I'm like, okay. And I'm always curious. What are people shoving into an omelet? Do you know what really struck me?
What's that?
They had a strawberry jam and cream cheese omelet.
No, cream cheese. No. No.
The strawberries didn't stop you? Strawberries and eggs?
No, the strawberries is not good either, but cream cheese, there's something particular about cream cheese that like...
Excuse me?
They're both bad. No, I'm saying in an omelet, just all of it.
In an omelet.
Like texturally.
It's a little too...
Yeah.
Cream cheese, if I'm eating a bagel, I do not want the cream cheese to be like molten lava hot because I agree.
Yeah.
It does do something peanut butter, like tahini almost, like this really like mouth coating thing.
Yes.
But the strawberry jam, dude, like that's nasty.
No,
and I never say anything's nasty. I'm like, I'll give it a shot.
It's all bad. No, I don't like I don't like any of it. Omelets should have savory things in them.
Savory. They also had one with pineapple in it. And I was like, oh my God. Now, that being said, just even to say the first weird thing that I love. So in Salem, Massachusetts, and there's a couple locations, but that's the only one I've ever been to. There is this place called Bagel World. And when I say Bagel World, I expect the country to know about Bagel World because like they're so good. And anybody who wants to come at me, I will fight you in their parking lot in the back across from Salem State, like no problem. But my favorite bagel combination there is a cinnamon raisin bagel toasted with scallion cream cheese.
the scallions are giving me pause. Everything else about that sounds really good. But yeah, scallions, I don't know.
Scallion cream cheese, because I like the sweet with the piquant of the onion.
I should be clear as we get into this episode, and I'm sure I'll discuss weird things I like, but I feel like I need to declare that I'm almost aggressively boring in the things that I eat, like a lot, because like if I went to that place, and I would be happy to go to Bagel World, I would get probably a plain bagel with cream cheese. I tend to order the most boring of things.
I am about to fall off my seat. You would get a plain bagel with plain cream cheese?
Yeah, it sounds delicious. Like, which is not to say I wouldn't eat a cinnamon raisin. That also sounds good, but
you wouldn't like just naturally be drawn to the flavorful.
I tend to default to more boring choices. I'm ordering those mozzarella sticks that you're looking at on every menu.
Okay, well that's normal because that's fried cheese. That's delicious. Okay, hold on, everybody. Pause. So if you were given, so it says turkey sandwich on the menu, turkey sandwich on wheat, right? It doesn't say anything about mayo, lettuce, tomato, onions, pickles. Will you just eat that turkey sandwich on that toast?
Yep. Yeah, 100%.
And you would never be like, may I please have a slice of tomato?
Nope. No, I don't. In fact, I don't really want the slice of tomato. I want it plain.
I'm shocked right now.
Yeah. You know, my go-to pizza order? This is going to make you sad too.
Light cheese?
Cheese. Not light, but cheese for sure.
If it's any consolation, so my brother Colton was super allergic to dairy when we were little. And I thought ice cream was frozen Cool Whip. If you put Cool Whip in front of me, I will projectile vomit everywhere. Same with coconut sorbet. Like, I can't do it. But we always had cheeseless pizzas.
Oh, that's weird.
So,
yeah.
Well, Joel, it's not that I'm like disappointed. I'm just kind of. Okay, last question. If you order a cheeseburger, would you get a cheeseburger or a burger?
Oh, definitely. Let's be clear. I love cheese. Put cheese on everything.
Okay.
Put cheese in that omelet.
Well, I didn't know how vanilla we were talking.
No. Cheese is great. Put cheese on everything.
Okay. So that's totally cool. I think that like a lot.
But also, if you were to answer your question, in case this is what you're wondering, if I was to get it, it would probably be like a cheeseburger with just pickles and mustard, and I'm happy. That's
like the grossest thing ever. So
that's gross.
Mustard and pickles?
Yeah, mustard and pickles.
Where's your sweetness coming from? Where's your fat coming from? We'll just Joel and I are actually going to have to wrap up this podcast and have a little conversation between the two of us right now. So thanks for listening. Howdy doody.
I just want to be clear. To be clear too, like I will eat pretty much anything. Like if someday when you and I actually meet up, which is still weird, that's never happened.
Still weird.
Anything that you cooked, I would eat. Like I will try whatever. I don't think.
Well, that's why we all know you love food.
Yeah, but it's like my default selections tend to be very boring.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
That's insane. Wow. Okay. So I think that a lot of my weird eating habits definitely spawned from my childhood. Like I've talked about my parents a lot. I love them more than anything. Hi, Mom and Dad. They listen to every single one unless it's sad, or they even listen to the tattoo one.
I was just gonna ask that your mom listened. How did your mom do with the tattoo episode?
She said that we were absolutely wonderful and we're stars with so many exclamation points and emojis. It was very. Yeah. I think it's so cute because I picture my parents like a little kumbaya-esque, like sitting in the living room, just like fully tuned into the podcast.
I do love the idea that they're listening to this like it is the early 1900s and they are gathered around.
Dude, they still have like a radio. Like you remember like the radio rack growing up where it was like one radio and then the one with the tape player and the one with the CD player. And it was just like 15 feet tall. They still have that.
My dad does
I don't
too.
know.
Yeah, my dad for sure. My dad loves all that stuff too. So like he has that kind of sound system as well.
You know what I've been dying to get? A landline. Hear me out. I get a landline and that's where everybody who I can do the private dinners for, they call the landline and leave me a voicemail because I can't respond to anybody because I don't know how to email.
That's very Bill Murray-esque. You know that, right? Like
that's a very big compliment to me. Thank you.
But I don't know if you know this about Bill Murray, but that's how, because now that he's, an older eccentric actor, that's how he gets work. The only way, if you want to get Bill Murray to be in your movie, he has a phone number that is hard to get the number for you. Like, you have to know the right people to get it. And you call and you leave him a message pitching whatever thing you want him to do. And he either calls you back or he doesn't.
Oh, this sounds brilliant.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put that on my list. I've got a list in my phone about very important things, and it ranges from like, let's see what's on here. Make my bathroom usable is on my list of, and I have since made my bathroom usable. But then I have like, see a waterfall.
Oh, that was nice. Yeah.
This one, get a landline. That's incredible. Get a landline. Okay, so my parents are incredible. They definitely love food. My dad more so than my mother, but us Smars are this strong Czech blood that we have. My mom can live off of diet ginger ale, which she keeps under the sink with all the chemicals. I'm not saying, but I'm just saying, and unsalted rice cakes. The dog won't even eat those.
My mom used to eat those when I was young. I remember a lot of those rice cakes. And the worst was when we didn't have other food in the house. And so, like, as a kid, you try to like throw some peanut butter on those or something to try to give them some. And they just tasted
mouth
like
is still stuck.
Yeah, they just tasted like a coaster. It tasted like you were eating like styrofoam.
Absolutely disgusting.
Yeah.
My mom can live off of that, or like canned green beans. Like, the way she and I think about food, and we're so similar. David calls me Joyce Jr. a lot. Is like, I only need one thing to satisfy this hunger, and then I'm going to move on to something else. Like, I would say I am not food motivated necessarily. Like, I much prefer to cook for other people than I do eat.
Yeah.
Which sounds crazy now that but that's how I get my like kicks. I don't get my kicks from feeding myself. So, I'll pick one thing. Triscuits and American cheese.
Amazing.
You put 6 on a paper plate. You top each Triscuit with a square of American cheese. You give 2 squares to your dog. You microwave that for 25 seconds. Heaven.
Nice.
Dinner.
Yeah. No, that sounds good. I definitely, I do Triscuits and cheese. Like, I like that.
Triscuits and cheese. Yeah. Oh my God. With my mom's Prego meat sauce. Growing up, we did eat spaghetti every night. Every single night. There wasn't a night without spaghetti. But spaghetti. So my mom would buy Prego, the like pasta sauce. She'd ground beef. She'd drain it. She'd add the Prego. She would take a little bit of her precious diet ginger ale, pour it into the bottle for the Prego container, swirl it around, and add that to the sauce. Okay. I shit you not. That's not even the weird part. Then she'd make like a family of 12, because we were all big kids. Well, I wasn't big, but like, growing kids. She'd make like 12 to 14 boxes of pasta, and that would be our jam. But my father, right? You're not even ready for this. Every night with his spaghetti would have a slice of peanut butter toast.
At the same time?
Mm-hmm. Like, sometimes he would like swirl the spaghetti in the peanut butter toast and make a spaghetti sandwich.
What is it with the men in your life and spaghetti sandwiches?
They say you marry somebody like your father, and here we are. Here we are, just 2 grown men eating spaghetti sandwiches. Yeah, he would do that. And my mom used to put peanut butter on my hot dogs.
What? Yeah. Huh. That's like just on a bun? Like a bun with
bun, hot dog, peanut butter.
Do you know what my mom used to do that was adorable? She used to cook hot dogs to look like little people. Like, so she would.
Oh my God, that's such a mom thing. That's a Pinterest mom thing. People pay money for that shit now.
But yeah, she would do that. She would like cut like little legs and little arms and like, and they would fry hot dogs.
Joyce did not have time for that. That was not in Joyce's repertoire of fun, creative snacks that she would make us. So that was definitely a weird one. And peanut butter on hot dogs is bomb. Like, it really is good. But you know what happened? All this stuff was introduced to me when I was little, and everything had sugar in it. And when I say I am like a sugar fiend. When Joel and I got on this phone call before we started recording, I was eating a dish of Whoppers.
That is true.
That's just a dish of Whoppers. Because I remembered they were in my car and it was really hot. And I was like, oh, God, I should probably save those Whoppers before the sun melts them.
I do eat a lot of sugar, too. Like, definitely. I think because you and I are about the same age that it's like, I think just everything had tons of sugar in it when we were kids. So
I have racked my brain. I do not remember drinking water once.
Yeah, it was Kool-Aid. We always had Kool-Aid.
We always had this stuff by Ocean Spray called Monolawi.
I don't know that.
That's what we called it.
Yeah.
It was like pineapple guava, like a fucking sugar bomb.
Yeah. But no, because Kool-Aid, you would make it. We had a pitcher and it was like the powder. Oh, that was just
the powder in the juggy thing.
Yeah.
And the Oh, that was the shit.
And it's just like you smelled that, like you would open it and it would just like sugar would just fly into your face.
It was like the 80s had the concentrated fruit juice, like in the freezer section.
Yeah.
And then the 90s had the powder because we had powdered everything.
Yeah. But
my Skittles water. I did make a note to talk about it.
Yeah.
Today is green apple and green. So purple has been my favorite flavor of anything forever. Purple anything. Purple popsicles, purple drink, purple soda.
Did you say it's green?
Purple.
You said it's green apple.
This is green apple. And I think I'm getting off of the purple. And I think I'm moving towards a new flavor, but I don't know what it is.
See, this is very contentious because I think I might have mentioned this on a previous episode. I am very lime green Skittle, like, ride or die. And so I was very upset. And when they switched to green apple, I've never been happy about it. It seems like the Skittles candy switched back to lime. But I guess I also want to point out your Skittle water. I have looked for this in stores and I've never seen it. So I'm very confused as to.
It's in Hannaford's. It's in the 7th aisle with all the other concentrated juices. And it's the one that looks the most unhealthy for you.
Is that a grocery store? I don't think we have Hannaford's.
It is a grocery store.
Oh, see, that might be what it is.
Everybody, we'll connect something for a link in the box and you guys can buy your own Skittles juice and we can just talk about our life choices.
No, because I have that just because of this show where I'm like, I want to try this Skittle water so I can report back to you. And every time I'm in a store, and I'm walking past that aisle, I look for it and it is never. California's banned it. It's not allowed.
It's not good for you.
It's not allowed in California.
I don't even look at the ingredients. I'm like, no, I cannot because I'm rotting, but I drink so much water.
Yeah.
But I had this ulcer and before I was drinking lemon water because I love tart and bitter and whatnot.
Yeah.
But then my stomach was eroding and then I was dumping lemon juice on it and I was wondering why I was in pain.
Yeah. But no, I'm with you on because like my favorite sugar vehicle in the entire world is those fruit sour candies that are just really bitter. And
I love those.
Yeah, those are really good.
Now I have a question going back to the Skittles things. So Skittles has lemon and they have lime?
Yeah. Yeah, the green one used to be lime. What is it? Lime
and now
again?
It's green apple. But it's gone back.
Yeah, in the candy it's gone back to lime. But I guess in Skittle water it is still green apple. But
green apple.
I find green apple
I would prefer
divisive.
if it was lime. That would be nice.
Yeah, because it blends better with the other flavors. I feel like green apple is too distinct a flavor.
It is.
Yeah, to balance with the other Skittles.
I'm constantly looking for things to make my water not taste like water because I try to drink like 64 to 80 ounces a day.
That's a lot
which
of
is
water.
Just like 3. Dude, you try being chubby and then not being chubby anymore. You need to see what works. And literally one day when I gain the balls, we'll do a diet episode because I do have a nutrition certificate and whatnot that I just recently received. Now I just lost my train of thought again. Help me, Joe. Bring me back.
But you were just in water. You need your water flavored.
I need my water flavored.
Yeah.
I just desperately need my water flavored.
It gets boring. Like I said, and again, I'm not going to pronounce it again, but that certain beverage that I mentioned.
LaCroix.
The LaCroix. Yeah, so I get that. You gotta,
and like strawberry milk growing up, I used to make myself strawberry milk with like the strawberry syrup, like Hershey's strawberry syrup.
Yeah.
And then I would put it next to my bed. And over the course of the night, and I never realized how effed this was, I would just drink this room temperature milk over the course of like 7 hours.
Oh, no.
Yep.
Just
I never got
milk
sick.
out.
I've got.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's also do they still sell that? Because I can picture exactly what you mean.
Do.
The strawberry syrup. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's this crazy, like it shouldn't be translucent, but you're just like, whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa. Like that's like, oh my God, I love it.
My parents would never buy the syrup. We had the chocolate syrup, but we never had strawberry syrup. But I remember other people's houses had them. That it felt very exotic.
I wonder, just because I'm not a parent, like, how do moms and dads and parents just like choose that stuff? Like my mom chose some like Monalawi. And again, it could have been like, I don't know what it was, but like, how was my mom like, you know what 3 small children under 8 are like? Guava juice. You know, like that's fascinating.
Yeah. No, I think with my parents, it was just, and it's funny to think about because it's sort of a wash when you really look back at it. But I think they didn't want us to have soda, so they would do Kool-Aid because in their mind that was better. That was better
because it was like they could see the water going into it probably.
Yeah.
And they were like, yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, there's at least a base. There's a pitcher full of water that is a starting point.
To all of our parents out there, tell us how you've like what that'd be interesting. Like, what is the most random thing you've decided you had to feed your child?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. Yeah. Like,
you know, just and then we can just like trace them for the next 30 years and see what their eating habits are like. It'll be wicked cool.
But yeah, we definitely had like our generation had a very straight like the things that were because it was like getting very into processed easy meals. But I was
going to say you had Snackwells where it was like eating cookies are good for you. You had
they're healthy cookies.
Healthy cookies. You had things where you could literally taste the granules of sugar because they were coated in them in your lunchbox.
Well, Pixie sticks, yes, but also was it Fun Dip? The one
Fun Dip.
It was literally just colored sugar
on a sugar stick.
Yeah, you use a sugar stick to scoop out.
They still make those.
Do they? Yeah, that's too much sugar.
That's a good birthday gift idea for everybody is get a birthday gift where it's all the year of the person's born's candy, what was popular then. That'd be cool.
Oh, I like that. They need to make that because they do that for like hit songs. There needs to be a website that you can look up what candy was popular the year you were born. Let's stop the podcast. This is our genius idea. This is how we're going to be rich. It's just
I can't wait, Joel. We deserve it. Do you have an idea for a great new podcast? You can bring your ideas to life and start your podcast today with Libsyn. Our podcast has been on Libsyn since April, and we love it.
Libsyn has everything you need to plan, launch, and grow your own podcast. Libsyn provides some of the best resources created by expert podcasters who will show you everything you need to know, like what equipment you should use, how to record great audio, how to get your show onto Apple Podcasts and other popular platforms, and much more.
Plus, as a friend of Stephanie knows some shit, when you sign up with Libsyn, you get your first month of podcast hosting for free.
There has never been a better time than right now for you to start podcasting. Visit Libsyn.com and use the code FRIEND, FRIEND. That's LIBSYN.com and use the code FRIEND, FRIEND, to get started and create your podcast today.
So those are some of the weird things that I eat. And then just like my regular eating habits, I have to say, I even know they're strange.
All right, what do you got?
Okay, so American cheese from the deli.
That's
no
not that
matter
weird.
What, no matter what I make, there always has to be 2 slices left before I run out. Always 2 of everything. Like I'll leave like 2 cherries in the bin, 2 oranges. I do have minor OCD, apparently, according to my therapist.
Yeah.
So that one's like it's just a weird eating habit that I have. What else? I mean, these are all the things. I always have chips with my sandwiches. I always cut my sandwiches the same way. I also love raw onion on anything.
Oh, see, I'm on the other side of you. I don't like raw onion on anything.
Oh my God. That's why In-N-Out's so good. But like I die so I can eat it every 3 years. They put a whole lemon onion slice on there.
I also
like so good.
they're going to revoke my California license.
I can hear it.
But I'm not a big fan of In-N-Out. The lines are way too long, and I don't think they're that good. If you live here, I feel like I got over it real fast. In-N-Out.
In-N-Out was the first meal I've ever seen anybody, and I was in LA, get fast food and bring it home and eat it like a picnic in their backyard.
That is wild. See, and this is where my East Coast bias still comes in because I was born on the East Coast. I think Five Guys is better than In-N-Out.
Five Guys is so good, and also awesome podcast, Guy Raz, How I Built This, where he covered the Five Guys.
That is interesting because that was all kind of like, near Maryland, which is where I'm from. Like, because I remember Five Guys being like a local thing and then blowing up. Yeah, like I do remember it when I was younger.
We couldn't go there as a kid because my brother's allergic to peanut oil.
They did love throwing those peanuts everywhere.
Yep.
Yeah.
Same with Texas Roadhouse. I love it there. So those are some weird eating things. I'm trying to think.
Can I run this? Will you tell me if this is weird? Because Molly thinks this is weird and I want to know.
Okay. I'm psyched.
Okay. So when I eat bananas,
already weird.
Just eating bananas.
Yep.
Okay.
Already strange.
But I don't, because I guess most people, they like peel them and they'll hold the peel. And I completely remove the peel before I eat it. And then I just.
A little strange.
Okay. All right. Well, there you go.
That's a little strange.
Yeah. I don't know why I do it. I just do.
Well, I only recently started eating bananas because they're just like, I love banana bread. I love banana things. I like banana runts, but like
banana runts are not bananas.
Banana. They're shaped like bananas. They're so cool.
Banana,
but just like a banana, I'm like.
Runts were definitely, that was one as a kid too. I was always a big fan
Runts
of.
Are bomb.
Yeah.
When it comes to candies, you know which ones I love? I think they're called bullseyes. It's like caramel, and then the center's like.
Oh, like the powdery center?
Powdery stuff.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I'll also eat candy corn year round.
Oh, I know that one's divisive. I like candy corn, but I know a lot of people like that's a
very
divisive
polarizing.
One. Yeah.
I almost said fruit candy. Very polarizing candy. Trying to think of the other weird things. Sandwiches I'll get weird with. Like just about anything that I eat needs to have like a pickly component, a sweet component, and a very savory component. So like even when I eat ramen, for example, I really like adding black vinegar to it, like the one you get like with like soup dumplings and whatnot. I'll add that because it adds like sweetness and a bite, because otherwise everything's too neutral for me.
Yeah.
Like it needed to be a little weird.
I feel like you're just naturally a chef. That's just, you're always balancing.
Yes. This is what we learned last week when I was so confused about this pantry cooking thing.
Yeah.
It's like, it's the same way, I guess, like an author can always write and never questions like the art of it. Like I just am like, no, don't you think about this stuff?
Yeah, you got to throw some acid and some whatever.
Like make
heat
it
on
spicy.
There. Yeah.
I also love a bell pepper dipped in Milfoui's Dijon mustard.
That I'm intrigued.
Which is ironic because I don't like bell peppers, and I'm not a huge mustard person.
That is the pepper is uncooked or it's cooked? It's like uncooked. So you're
like crudité.
Okay. Yeah. I'm intrigued by that. Like, yeah, because also I like both of those things. I both like peppers. Okay,
then
and
you would
mustard.
love it. My ex's mother dipped. So she would do like her own happy hour every night, and she would dip shrimp cocktail and bell peppers in mustard. And I was like, that's strange. And then a couple of years later, and I tried it, and I was like, damn. Maybe she did know what she was talking about. Now I'm trying to remember her name.
But you said Dijon mustard too, right?
Dijon. So this one brand, the brand's Milfouis, or it's spelled just like Milfouis. So Milfouis, I don't know if that's how you are supposed to say it, but it has like a wasabi light kick.
Oh,
so
interesting.
There are some times where like, it's not the quantity of food. It's like the power packed in the bite that I desperately need. So I'm like always looking for that.
Yeah. That one sounds good. Yeah. Yeah. I like, see, that's the thing. I like very like mustard or spicy, which I know feels contradictory towards the very bland things that I often eat.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. I like a lot of heat too, like in flavor stuff.
I like spice.
Yeah.
I think some of my weirdest food combinations, and I feel like a lot of people will relate to this, is what I drink with what I eat.
Oh, okay.
You know, like I think that a cheeseburger needs a Coca-Cola. Like I always used to drink wine. I don't want people to think that I just like, but like I used to be wine and stuff, but I never really got into drinking beer. But like sodas, like let's get down with this. Cheeseburger, good cheeseburger.
Yeah.
Or shitty cheeseburger. Coca-Cola.
I mean, that's just classic. Like that's just Americana, I think.
Japanese like ramen, sushi, Chinese food, Sprite.
Interesting. Because there's like bold flavors in the food
there's
scene.
less flavors.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a little cleaner than a Coke.
Yeah.
When you're inundating your palate with a lot of flavor.
So it's more refreshing.
I don't have breakfast. And we went over, I don't drink coffee very often. I did have a coffee today.
I'm proud of you.
And it was delicious.
Yeah.
Like melted ice cream. It was so good.
I don't know if this counts as a weird thing or not, but also we're in LA, so it probably doesn't. But Molly and I are both like year-round iced coffee drinkers. Never hot coffee.
Never hot.
Yeah.
Hot is reserved for like Thanksgiving when you want to feel cozy, and like Christmas. No, always iced.
Yeah. Okay.
Always iced. It's even better because in the winter, the ice doesn't melt.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know? But, oh, you know what I love? Bloody Marys minus the alcohol.
So tomato juice.
Gazpacho.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love horseradish. I love black pepper. I love pickle. Like, all about it.
Yeah.
Big fan.
Fair enough. Do you put, you still put the like, the stuff around the rim?
So my friend Will, who is an incredible bartender, he's at Blossom Bar in Brookline right now. And they're opening up a bunch of other places. They've got like Ivory Pearl, just gorgeous restaurants. He would make me a Bloody Mary every brunch service. So every Sunday, no frills, garnish. And I was like, you know what? I love that it had the garnish because he was just like pouring like the mix that he had made the night before. But like, it's just like how I would never send out a sandwich uncut. Like it's like the fit. You don't even think about it, but you're like, here's a little finesse. You're welcome.
That was, by the way, you said that, and then I'm glad you brought that up because I meant to go back to it because you said you always cut your sandwiches the same way. And what way is that? Is that? No,
it's not the same way. It's the same way for the specific sandwich.
Okay, so it varies from sandwich to sandwich.
It's typically always in quarters, though.
Okay.
Sometimes I do a finger if I'm feeling wild, or sometimes I will, like a Reuben should not be cut into quarters.
No.
Or triangles. You know what I mean? That needs to be a half slice.
Yeah, because
but not down the middle from and like opposite diagonal. Like that's just common sense to me. I don't know.
Well, a Reuben, there's too much in the middle of it that's going to fall apart.
Way too much.
Yeah,
and it's like, all juicy and like.
Yeah, you need the bread as together as possible to eat it. And also Reubens are delicious. But
Reubens are so good.
They really are.
Reubens are so good. I was talking to my new friend, Jacob, who should be listening to this. Hi, Jacob.
Hi, Jacob.
And we were talking about Jewish food in general. And this is knowing nothing about the religion or anything, but just the fundamentals of Jewish home cooking to me is like the coolest. Like the way I wish people could see because my eyes are bugging out of my head right now. The way it's so rich, but it's clean and it's not complicated, but it's so complicated. And there's technique where there's lack of ingredients. It's just like, I'm super into it. Yeah,
no, some truly fantastic food for sure.
Mm-hmm. And I love chicken livers until I think about them and then I can't eat them. But for the most part, I love chicken livers. So, but those are my like drinks. What other where do you eat weird food? Everything I eat is strange. Yesterday, I took a quart of fruit from my client's house and then I borrowed her fork. Mary Lou, I owe you your fork back. And I just drove and ate some fruit salad.
Like while driving?
Yeah.
That's talent. Like that. I think just anything complicated.
I don't know when I became this confident driver. Knock on wood. Oh my God. We're not that confident. We're still knocking on wood. But like, I just have snacks all the time.
Which is interesting too, because again, and I know you're a little bit outside of Boston, but I just remember my time in Boston that like the driving there is intense. Like it's not.
It's the only place I know how to drive.
But
I've never driven. I've driven in Napa. And I think that's the only other state I've ever driven in. Like I've definitely driven my car to Rhode Island once, but I've never gone on vacation and been like, I need to rent a car. That's not me.
Yeah, my memory of driving in Boston is it's not a grid, so it's really confusing. And just everyone drives fast and confidently. And so they don't like if you need to merge, if you need to do any of that, you're on your own. You got to figure it out.
You know how people who aren't from Boston but are going to be driving in Boston should think about merging? David said this to me and it rocked my world. He was like, it needs to be like a zipper.
Yeah.
So why don't people zipper?
Well, but I also will say that should be everyone. You have to think of it like a zipper and people don't. But also in Boston specifically, you just have to go and trust that the other people will let you merge. And I think that's what trips people up. That's what tripped me up.
I am other people.
But that's the thing is like,
I am other people.
I think people are used to people like slowing down to let you through. And it's like they're going to let you through, but they're also going to drive at full speed. They're not going to make it clear.
Yeah, but we want you to be like a little on edge. Right.
So that's what I remember. I think it made me a better driver the time because I lived in Boston for like a few years briefly. And I think I'm a better driver now than I was before that because you get a little bit of that reckless confidence, I think.
I spend a lot of time in therapy talking about how I need to I'm such a methodical driver because I learned how to drive when I was 22 that I have specific lanes. And if I can't go into them at my specific times, I'm like so upset. I'm like inconsolable. I'm like, please, I don't know how to do it otherwise. But what I just recently bought some new stuff for car snacks. Oh, Whole Foods had these lollipops that have vitamin C in them. So I bought those and then I dropped one on the ground in my car a little bit earlier today and I picked it up and it was as if Bear was in the car with me and he's been in my car 3 times. It was so disgusting. I was like, shit, what do I do with this now? But it was Whole Foods, so it was biodegradable.
That's good.
I also I'll save this for the end. Remind me because I have a story that'll tie us into the end of the podcast. But I also like certain foods at the wrong temperature.
What does that mean?
So if it is a broth-based soup and it's been in my refrigerator, I'll drink
cold.
it Pizza, preferably cold. Chinese food, preferably cold. Pasta, depends.
Yeah, some pasta is good cold.
Pasta is never great.
No, but cold pasta can be really good the next day.
Spaghetti sandwich. What else do we have? Just a lot of weird things. And then I eat off of all compostable paper plates and bowls. Yeah. Because I hate doing the dishes so much.
Well, you said at the end of the show, we're getting towards the end of the show. I know that you have a story that you want to share.
I do.
That we should.
I do.
Yeah.
Okay. So this story kind of tying into the cold food. So my favorite cold food and one of my favorite foods in the entire world are crab rangoon.
They're good.
I have a tattoo on my bicep. I've never thought that that's where it is. It's on my bicep. So it's on my bicep and it's a crab, but it's a rangoon in the middle. That was the first one Nikki Noodles did for me. Which
you can listen to our tattoo episode if you haven't, which is...
Definitely listen to our tattoo episode and just go look at his adorable little face on my Instagram.
It is great. Yeah, no, that episode was delightful and he seems delightful. So
he's a wonderful person. Wonderful person. But so I just love crab rangoon. And I was living in Lynn. And if this person would go get Chinese food, let's say, he would always bring home crab rangoon for when I got done with work. Okay, this happened once, but let's just glorify what he tried to do or something. I don't know. Anyways, so it's the middle of the night and I had a glass of wine and I think I had smoked a little bit of pot. And so I'm like, sorry not to make this PG, but whatever. So I'm just
warning, I'm picturing your parents again in their living room gathered around the radio.
Oh my God, they're probably just horrified right now. My mom's like, Sophie, stop talking. But I was 24. So long ago. But so I woke up and I was like, crab rangoon. And so in the middle of the night, I'm a fearful sleeper. I'm afraid I'm never going to fall asleep again, like all this stuff. So I kept my eyes closed as I was walking into the kitchen, right? So I'm walking into the kitchen, pitch black with my eyes closed to go get this cold crab rangoon. I miscalculate where the kitchen island is.
Ooh.
And I kick it
Ooh.
square on. I don't even know how it happened. Like square on, like my foot like folded in half, right?
Ugh.
Like,
yeah,
super nasty. So I wake up this person because I'm screaming, silently screaming. I'm not like very dramatic about it, but I'm in like serious pain. And it's starting to swell immediately. And I'm crying so hard because it hurts so bad. And I like somehow knock out, like I fall asleep, like from shock, probably. I wake up the next morning and I'm like, oh, and I look down and I'm like, oh, so I text my father and I'm like, Dad, should I go to the hospital? And he's like, oh my God, I broke my foot.
Oh, was it like purple? And like, what did it look like the next morning?
It did a thing where it almost looked like a mountain range on the sole of my foot because the blood was just like dead.
Oof. Ugh.
And then I had to go to work with like a boot on and explain to everybody what happened. And I just started that job and I was like, I don't know. It's like, it was an accident.
You're like, there was this crab rangoon, oh, right? Like, yeah, how do you explain that?
Let me start at the beginning, please. Please. But that's how I broke my foot, eating one of my favorite things, which is just cold crab rangoon in the middle of the night.
Did you get the crab rangoon? You still ate it, right? Like,
I think I actually blacked out from pain before I even realized what I was really trying to do.
That's the worst part of the story.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the tragedy. How long did you have the boot?
Like 3 weeks.
That's not too bad.
No, it was not a bad fracture. It was just like,
yeah,
really, Tubby, this is between that and choking on a boneless spare rib. I've almost died twice because of food.
That's not good.
But here we go. So when you have that weird craving, open your eyes.
Yeah. Well, now, I mean, everyone has phones now, so you can like put the flashlight on your phone or something, make sure.
Not my landline.
Yeah.
TBD.
Yeah. Not your Bill Murray landline.
Not my Bill Murray landline. Oh my God. If the phone just rang like randomly,
that would have been perfect.
I'd have a heart attack. Heart attack.
Well, hey, so we're about out of time, but I know one thing that we were really good about this when we started the podcast, and then we veered a bit is, and I know people like it, is that we were talking a lot about different cookbooks that you liked, and you're a big cookbook fan, and people like when you have recommendations for them.
Yeah. So I was in Portland this afternoon, and I actually picked up a cookbook for the first time in a long time, and it's called The Maine Farm Table Cookbook by Kate Schaefer. I don't know where you buy it, cookbook places, but it's so good. And it has these awesome stories. So Luke's Lobster is like a national lobster roll chain, I think. I think it's national. They've started up in Portland and they have like stories about all this stuff. So that is my rec for the day. It's not like the craziest recipes ever, but they look really good. Individual pork pies with cranberry, pork chops and creamy pepper sauce, sliced lamb salad with tomatoes, feta, and red onions. Like, it looks really cool. And support Kate. I don't know who Kate is, but she does look lovely in her picture.
So what was it like? What drew you to this cookbook?
I was just like, honestly, okay, that's what I wanted to say. I've got a little gripe about cookbooks right now.
Okay.
Nobody's writing quality cookbooks that I have seen in the larger bookstores, right? I love some of those old fallbacks, but I went to Barnes and Nobles because, don't hate me, but I needed a book. Nobody else had it. And I was looking at the cookbook section and I was like, oh, cool. Like, nothing wrong with her, but like Valerie Bertinelli, Ina Garten, some guy named Anthony, where everywhere I go, they're trying to sell his cookbook. Like, there's nothing.
From Queer Eye? Is it him?
Oh, it could be.
Yeah.
I bet that's what it is.
Yeah.
I bet that's what it is.
By the way, he's delightful. If it is him, like, it's, yeah.
Okay, then we're not shitting on him. We'll take it back.
Yeah.
But Valerie Bertinelli, it's like no cookbook is screaming like passion project to me. Like the last great cookbook that I think I bought was Gregory's.
Yeah. Yeah, that one
and
did look really great.
Congratulations to Gregory for his James Beard Award. Like, that was such a good cookbook. Nobody's making these books where I'm like, that's something new, or I'm learning a new technique. or like,
I do know what
thank you
you
for
mean.
having another burrata.
Yeah, I know what you mean, that there's a little bit of like a factory quality to it, of just
right
like
now it's like a little bit of a sellout quality. I was
Yeah.
really disappointed. So for all my cookbook writers out there, I'm waiting because this was kind of my goal with starting back up talking about cookbooks, is buying a cookbook a week, because I love supporting these people. And more than that, I fucking just love cookbooks so much. But we don't need things dumbed down. And I'm speaking like for an overall consumer. What we need is the exciting. And that is not what I was seeing while I was there.
Yeah, and I think there's a fine line between not dumbed down, but practical. Because I think that is something where cookbooks do go awry, is assuming that you have a lot of, things that you might not have in your kitchen, or doing very complicated techniques that you're not realistically going to do in a home kitchen. But you don't need to dumb it down. I mean, people know a lot about cooking. Like, people are pretty...
We want to even see that. And with your pictures, like, make sure those pictures... I'm not really reading your, like...
The pictures are the most important. Yeah, you got to have the pictures.
Truly. So for next week, if everybody will hit me up and give me a cookbook that you're like, this is it.
And also, we'll start. We have the bookshop, so we'll have a link to that, and we'll put all these that we recommend there. So if people can, sure, find all the past ones and all of that, we'll make sure they're there. Yeah,
we are going to make this a bit more of a thing. Elderberry blinis with caramelized apples. That sounds great.
That does sound really good.
Doesn't that sound nice?
Yeah.
Shit, no.
You should make those.
Blueberry buckle.
Oh. Yeah, there's a lot of sweets in this that sound really good.
Yeah, I even love like old church cookbooks. Like, I love all that stuff. But right now, I just don't need another cookbook.
That is like
where they are right now.
The mac and cheese recipe that I use is just the most like classic church cookbook mac and cheese, and it's so good.
David's mom has so many of them, and when I go there, I don't talk to either of them. I just read the recipes.
You're just in the corner, just flipping through.
Truly, because they love each other so much. They're off in their own little world. They don't need me there. I'm like, ooh, add the bologna with the pistachios to the Cool Whip terrain.
So, but we covered that David and your dad have some crossover. Is there crossover between you and David's mom?
David's mom? Not a thing.
Oh, interesting.
Not a thing. Not even a little thing. We're so different. She's amazing. I love her to death. But she's like very quiet and adorable and happy with her life and her house, and she just kind of hangs out, and I am manically always trying to go.
All right.
So those are our differences. But yeah, if anybody has any suggestions for just like a cookbook where you're like, I can't live without this, please hit up Stephanie Knows Some Shit, where Joel, maybe we'll try and compile a list together and we'll go through it. And
yeah, we'll put up, we've been doing a lot of poll questions. So we'll make that a poll question. People can submit it to that. We'll compile them and we'll see what we do.
Start our own, we'll call it the Weekly Book Club.
I like it. Yeah, I like it a lot. Mm-hmm. And hey, speaking of that, one of the things that we have been asking for is help with a new sign off. And we've got a lot of great suggestions on that. And we have one that I think you're going to try out this week.
It's the most authentic and generous I can be. Thank you all so much for listening. Later, muffins.
Love it. That one is good. I like that one a lot.
Felt good.
Stephanie Knows Some Shit is hosted by Stephanie Cmar and me, Joel Murphy, and produced by me. If you enjoyed the show, give us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts, and instead of a review, tell us about a meal that you ate or made recently. We'd love to read about it.
We Have to Ask. It's a podcast where we answer the question, are you going to eat that?
What will you leave behind?
Why get out of bed?
Will you be our neighbor?
I'm Marty.
And I'm Jonathan.
We're two hosts.
Infinite universes.
We have to ask.
New interviews every Tuesday.
Find us on iTunes or online at wehavetoask.com or with the other great podcasts on the Peak Sloth Network at peaksloth.com.